All right, welcome back to the Onebar and Lupagus show. I'm Onebar with Lupagus. Vikings signing tight end Robert Tonyan. Very familiar name to Vikings fans.
Known to us as Bob Tonyan. Hell yes,
Tonyan.
Minnesota Vikings adding to that tight end depth chart with Bob Tonyan. We're going to talk about him before we do. Subscribe to the channel, like, comment as well, and hop on tonight, 5:20 for Horned Up, where there's sure to be more talk about the newest Minnesota Viking.
Bob Tonyan, before we even get into Robert Tonyan, I mean, is there anything better than taking a pack? I mean, he was fairly beloved there for a couple of years in Green Bay, ripping it up, had 11 touchdowns. We'll go over all that stuff. But just the fact that another beloved Packer will now be putting on purple.
Yeah, I remember way back in 2020 talking to Boz about this guy. He was so high on Bob Tonyan. He actually, I give him credit because he kind of said this could be a breakout player, and he did. He had a huge year that year. Bob Tonyan, I think you're right. Yeah, grabbing another beloved Packer to join Aaron Jones.
Yeah, undrafted. Spent 5 years with Green Bay. Last year he was with Chicago. Had a couple breakout years, but injuries have definitely been an issue. Definitely derailed his big seasons back there when he was with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, he's been an NFC North whore. He was an undrafted free agent in the Lions, then went to the Packers, spent a year last year in Chicago. Now he's a Minnesota Viking. And you mentioned his injuries. Let's go over those quickly. 2019, he had a hip injury. 2020 had an ankle injury. 2021, he had that season-ending ACL tear. So he's been beat up over the years.
Yeah, 30 years old. He is not a spring chicken by any means. He went to Chicago last year, did not get much run. I mean, they have some pretty good tight ends over there as well, but only 17 targets. He had like 11 receptions, not many stats. But
they had a kick returner throwing the football.
I'm just saying he didn't even get many targets. It's not like the targets weren't there. He wasn't seeing much. You could tell reading some of his quotes at the end of the season he was not going to come back. He doesn't want to come back. So he wanted to be purple. He was dying to wear the purple jersey.
He was, and you mentioned some of his production. He's had years with 52 receptions, 53, 586 yards. He's got 17 career touchdowns. The guy can score. I think the question comes down to what's his role going to be on this Minnesota Viking team? What are your early thoughts? I know we're just digesting this information. The news just broke, but I mean, just quick. What are your thoughts on this guy's role?
One thing is when he's been the top dog, when they said you're tight end one, he performs. He does well. And this last year he was not the guy. So he's not going to come in here and be a tight end one by any means. He's not a very good blocker. He can play inside. They can put him outside. So he can do a lot of things, but he's more of that pass catching tight end. So this one makes a lot more sense to me that he could potentially fill the Hockenson role early. Looking at the depth chart, I mean, we know Oliver's the blocker. We know Munt is just kind of whatever, Nick Muse. But I think Bob, long story short, has a legit shot of making the 53.
Yeah, the 10 depth chart isn't overly daunting. We'll see how many they decide to keep. And, was it going to be just kind of like you hang out here for a while until Hawkinson's back, then we're going to put you on the practice squad? I don't know. We'll see what happens. Again, I think it comes down to his health. Is he fully healthy? Are all those injuries behind him? How does he look moving around for a 30-year-old man? But I love this signing. Why the hell not take a chance on Bob Tonyan?
Take a chance on me. They got young guys. They got Nick Muse. They got Trey Knox. A lot of people like Trey Knox, the undrafted free agent as well. But yeah, I love the fact that they're adding more depth. They didn't do it in free agency until now. He didn't appear to have much of a huge market out there. I haven't seen the numbers what he signed for, but I'm guessing it's probably not much. It's probably a one-year deal. But if he made the 53, I would love it. I would love everything about it.
I don't think we had to cut anybody. I feel like we had an open spot on the roster, so we'll have to check on that, see if anybody gets released. But I feel like there was one open spot for the Vikings, so maybe it's something that costs anybody else currently on this team their job. So Bob Tonyan, welcome to the Minnesota Vikings. I'm sure it's going to be a career year for you.
Packers fans, I can only imagine on Twitter, they're already, washed up Robert. And all of a sudden, they probably just hate him when they loved him more than their own family a couple of years ago. But let's hope he's got some of that magic left in him. I predict, what's that? It's 20 receptions, 2 touchdowns, and a couple big games against the Packers.
Wow, that is bold. That is bold Bob Tonyan prediction. I love it. Let us know in the comments, what do you guys think of old Robert Tonyan being a Minnesota Viking? Remember this. The popular toys Tonka trucks actually started from a Minnesota-based company.
Did.